both an evangelical Christian and a Democrat, or be fervently in love with God and also New York City, which by some accounts is being destroyed, along with the state of California, of course, by liberal nutjobs. I wrote this book for you, too. I wrote the book for all of you, not to get everyone on my side, although nothing would make me happier, but to give you a perspective you may not have, from someone living in both worlds. Before we get into the details of how I ended up in this position, however, it's important for me to speak directly to some of you. To those who are still hung up on the evangelical business and can't really get past it, I understand. I grew up in a church that had evangelical in its name, and I still didn't fully get what the word meant until recently. And the word has become more culturally charged in the past decade or so, which is why many Christians who technically are evangelical never say the word. Here's how I, and others I've read, think of it. There are little e evangelicals and big E evangelicals. The first term, which is what I'm talking about, is a theological term. Little e evangelicals believe in the authority of the whole Bible, not just a la carte parts of it, that Jesus is the Son of God, born of a virgin, who died and rose from the dead, and that believers have become believers through a life-changing encounter with God. Big E evangelical is a largely white, Republican voting bloc of people who, in my opinion, probably place their identities in their political beliefs more than in their religious ones. Little e evangelicals are simply Christians who adhere to a few core theological beliefs, and some of us care about a lot of the same liberal social issues that you do. The way society has co-opted evangelical as a political term has made things extremely messy to the point that the word has become radioactive. I'm not attempting to revive it or take it back from the Republicans exactly. I'd even support a movement where we decide on a new designation, something completely innocuous, like triangle Christians or corduroy Christians. But no matter what you call us, we are around. There are evangelical Presbyterians, evangelical Baptists, and evangelical Anglicans. Some of us are standing beside you at protests. We are passionate about racial justice and public schools and fighting homelessness. To those of you who are Christians in the South or Midwest and think I've been brainwashed by the coastal elite, well, my husband did go to Harvard, so it's entirely possible. But my hope is that through humor and persuasive editorializing that I learned in journalism school at a Southern State University, calm down, I can soften your view of liberal urbanites. So many of us live in cities precisely because we feel called and because we see cities as beautifully reflecting the kingdom of God. Plus, if you're weary of reading Christian living books where women talk about their failures in sonnet form and gloss right over the ugly sin part, please know that I once threw a remote control at my husband's head. Chapter 5 is devoted to my penchant for fighting outside on street corners. To those who think I'm making myself out to be some sort of unicorn, when in fact there are a lot of urban Christian Democrats out there, and I really should look around and stop acting like I'm special, you're right, I know. And there are a lot of Christian Republicans who also care about racial justice and public schools and fighting homelessness and are as wary of the word evangelical as I am. I wrote this book for all of us so that we know we're not alone. Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, big E evangelical or small e evangelical, or none of the above, I wrote this book mainly to make you laugh. And cry, good cry, and realize that in the midst of marriage or trying to get a job or parenting or trying to grow up and figure out who you are already, we have more in common than not. Some of you are mothers and churchgoers and part-time employees. You will see yourself here. Some of you are mothers and agnostics and women's marchers and CEOs. You will see yourself here. Some of you are single and dating and wondering if your mother is going to be super disappointed if you stay in New York and marry that guy. You will see yourself here. And don't worry, it all works out. I've learned that I can't please everyone. I'll be a disappointment sooner or later, maybe even to you, but I'm not a disappointment.